There's always something you can do to add life to your life. I learned so much in my life when I was living in Colorado and I was cycling. One day, I did something known as the death ride. Oh, I should tell you guys, I've always had a lifelong issue with my weight. And as I recall, on that day, I think I weighed about, I'm not telling you the number, but it was over 2, okay? And on that day, I did something that only one other woman had done, which was to do 7 mountain passes, and a pass is many mountains, okay? Over 21,000 feet of climbing and 230 miles in one day. Now, I have learned everything I need to know about life on my bike. I learned that when you pass a man, they will kill themselves to get back in front of you. Yeah, right? Sorry, guys, but it's true, right? It's true. It's just in them. I have learned that if you worry about that thundercloud over there, you might not even get rained on. So just kind of see the storms, but don't let them paralyze you with fear. I learned there's always someone who's ready to run you off the road. But on this day, I learned so much about life, so much about what matters, and it's really about you. It's not about me doing something really dumb, but it's like, who wants to spend their day doing that? But I did it, and when I signed up for it, there were 3 men and me, and the men did not want me to do that ride because they thought I was going to slow them down or I wouldn't be able to do it, blah, 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 whatever. And they kept trying to discourage me. When a year earlier, I was the first woman to do a similar thing in Rocky Mountain National Park and on that loop. And I said to them, look, I'm going to do it. I'm going. And they just kept saying, yeah, but. So I said to my neighbor, Joe, I'm going to do this thing in the mountains. Will you come down to Durango with me? It's really going to be great. And he said, no problem. I said, just hang out in Durango, find me sometime, maybe 3 in the afternoon, and make sure I've got support. And he says, okay. So it starts at 1:30 in the morning. If you can imagine how dark it is in Colorado where there's not going to be any ambient light, and I'm climbing, and I didn't know they had these really great LED lamps for your bike. I had a cheap thing I had bought at Target, so I couldn't see anything. And I'm driving up this mountain on my bike, and those guys left me immediately. They wanted nothing to do with me. I just saw them trailing up ahead. I just kept going, and I had a secret weapon. I had this cassette tape. Okay, a cassette tape. I had this cassette tape I had made, and it had all my favorite songs. Tina Turner, Madonna, Rolling Stones, and in between every song, my family and my friends were encouraging me. They said things to keep me going. And so when we started at 1:30 in the morning, I started with that tape. And just going along, and then about, I don't know, must have been about 6, because the sun was coming up, I get to the top of the first pass, which was the Moelis Divide. And it was a 360 panorama of beautiful, magnificent mountains. And the water guy is there, and I'm feeling strong. And I know I'm going to be okay, because I've told myself I cannot feel any pain or complain until I've hit mile 120. Because at 120, I'm going to get a 40-mile gradual descent, recover, and then get on back out there. So I get to the top of that first one, and it was funny. Mustang Sally was on my cassette as I summit that mountain, never knowing that years later I would write a book called Mustang Sally's. So that was then. There's one. The next, Coal Bank Pass, no problem. Dallas Divide, I'm doing great. I cycled past Ralph Lauren's ranch, and I look down, and I have no water. I have this much water, and I got a long way to go, and I have not seen the water guy in hours. And suddenly I'm forced to figure out what I'm going to do to quit, because I'm not going to make it without water. And there aren't any convenience stores in that part of the world, right there. If I found a stream, it probably had Giardia in the water, and that would really not be good. And just as I'm trying to figure it out, I hear beep, 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 beep. And I turn, and it's Joe, and he's in my car. And he comes up, and he goes, hey! And I look at him and go, hey, do you have water? And he goes, I have water, I got Gatorade, I got food, what do you need? I said, don't lose me. Because your friends and your family will get you there every time. Your friends and family will get you. It's just like that tape, right? So I'm back in the game. I'm going, and I am climbing on this side of Lizard Head Pass, because that's going to be mile 120 up at the top. And I am strong and ready for my 40-mile gradual descent. And I get up to the top of that mountain, and what do I see? No. Go ahead. The water guy. And you know what he says to me? He says, you're going too slow, so I'm going to put you in the truck and move you forward. And I looked at him and I said, no, the rule is I have 24 hours to do this, which I will do, and I'm not quitting. And he says, get in the truck, and we had a fight. And then Joe pulls up, and I look at him, I said, will you support me? And he goes, yeah. And I go, bye-bye. Because there's always someone who's going to tell you to quit. Don't listen. If you know you're going to make it, just keep moving forward. You're going to get there. So I'm back in it, and I start the other side of Lizard Head Pass. I'm going to get 40 miles of gradual descent. And what do I encounter? But the worst headwind I've ever had in my life. And instead of getting to just glide for 40 miles, I had to pedal hard. Because remember this, just when you think it's going to get easier, it's going to get harder. And all you can do is keep moving forward. 1 mile at a time, 1 inch at a time, 1 step at a time. Keep moving forward. Well, I get through that. I see at the side of the road, Joe has set up a beautiful picnic. I stop, I eat. It's the first time, it's probably 4 in the afternoon, first time I have sat down since 1:30 in the morning. And I'm down there crouched, and it comes that moment when I have to get up and get moving. And I can't move. Just can't. And he reaches forward, and he pulls me up, and he goes, get on your bike. And I get on my bike, and it's going to be 1 mile at a time. And do you know, every mile or every 2 miles, that man stood at the side of the road. You can do it, girl. Come on, fawn. Because your friends and family will get you there. And he got me there. And then I had 2 more passes. And I started hallucinating. I didn't know what to do. Sun's coming down. I put my tape in. I heard the voices of people I loved. They were there for me. They got me up that mountain. I thought I saw a dinosaur, but I thought, I'm educated. I know they're extinct, right? And suddenly, I've just got one more descent, and I'm going to be there. And it's a very steep descent. And the road is bad, and I'm thinking, you probably aren't awake enough to do this, but I'm going to do it. And Joe was behind me with the flashers on, because by this point it's dark. And he's got the flashers on in the car so that other vehicles knew something was up. And every time he saw a pothole, he'd flit the brights. And he got me down that mountain, and I came around the corner, and I saw the lights of Durango. I saw the hotel parking lot where I had started. You never know how close you are to turning the corner until you turn the corner. Whether it's me selling my book or walking or doing anything, you just have to keep moving forward. And there I was, and I glided into that parking lot, and what do I see? The guys. And they're all there in their stinky bike clothes, and they said, "Hey, we wanted to cheer you in." And I'm looking at that, and they hadn't changed clothes, hadn't showered, and I'm like, "Oh, the tortoise caught up to the hares." Didn't she? And they go, "You want to have dinner?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm going to go with Joe." And then I went and ate a foot-long sub, and then I didn't get on my bike for 6 weeks. But there was a lot of learning in that. Okay, I got so much more to do. This is a great story. Hire me again and you'll hear it. Because I want to teach you things that make you stronger. Remember, the more you do things that scare you, the easier it is to do things that scare you. I have a friend whose daughter has a lot of anxiety and she's scared to do things that she's afraid of. Like even going into the water, but I'm getting her out there and I'm going to get her to do night kayaking with me. We have this plan. She's going to do it because once you do the first thing, you can do the second. Keep going. Keep doing things that scare you.